Welcome to Reading Africa. Today we're going to read about the Kingdom of Luba. The Kingdom of Luba, or Luba Empire, was a pre-colonial Central African state that arose in the marshy grasslands of the Upemba Depression in what is now Southern Democratic Republic of Congo. The Luba Empire was established in 1585 and de-established in 1889, and its government was a monarchy. The Luba Kingdom was founded by King Kongolo Mwamba around 1885. His nephew and immediate successor, Kalala Ilunga, expanded the empire over the upper left bank territories of the Lualaba River. At its peak, the state had about 1 million people paying tribute to the king. Kongolo Mwamba had founded a capital near Lake Boya. From the east, a hunter known as Ilunga Bindi Kiluwe arrived. Ilunga married two sisters of Kongolo, known as Bulanda and Mabele. Hostility grew between Kongolo and Ilunga to the point where Ilunga left for an unknown location. Bulanda had a son named Kalala Ilunga. Kalala began to overshadow his uncle Kongolo. The conflict between the two grew but turned in Kalala's favour. Kalala eventually seized power and decapitated his uncle Kongolo. Kalala's reign, the tradition says, initiated an expansionary period for the kingdom. The new Ilunga dynasty, according to tradition, expanded the kingdom westwards past Lake Kisale. The new dynasty also established a more centralized state where the king ruled closely with his governors. The Kingdom of Luba's success was mainly due to the large part to its development of a form of government durable enough to withstand the disruptions of succession disputes and flexible enough to incorporate foreign leaders and governments. The Luba model of governing was so successful that it was adopted by the Lunda Kingdom and spread throughout the region that is today northern Angola, northwestern Zambia, and southern Democratic Republic of Congo. Law and order were handled by the king, known as the Mulobwe, with the assistance of court nobles known as Bamufumus. The kings reigned over their subjects through clan kings known as Valobwe. The diverse populations of the Luba were linked by the Mabujge, a secret society that kept the memory of the Luba alive and taught throughout the realm. The Bujge tradition states that all the rulers of the Luba Empire traced their ancestries to Kalala Ilunga. The figure is also credited with the introduction of advanced iron forging techniques to the Luba peoples. Luba kings became deities upon their death. The Bujge were thus a group who were responsible for maintaining the oral histories associated with kings, their villages, and the customs of the land. Parallels to these kinds of officials can be found in nearby kingdoms such as Cuba and Lunda. The Luba Kingdom's economy led to the development of several small Luba kingdoms nearby. Luba traders linked the Congolese forest to the north with the mineral-rich region in the center of the modern Zambia, known as the Copper Belt. The trade routes passed through Luba territory were also connected with wider networks extending to both the Atlantic and Indian Ocean coasts. With the formation of the Luba Kingdom, the economy was complex and based on tribute system that redistributed agricultural, hunting, and mining resources among nobles. The ruling class held a virtual monopoly on trade, items such as salt, copper, and iron ore. This allowed them to continue their dominance in much of Central Africa. In the Kuba Kingdom, art was held quite highly. A carver held relatively high status, which was displayed by an adze, which is an axe that he carried over his shoulder. Luba art was very not uniform because of the vast territory. However, some characteristics were very common. In the Luba tradition, the kasala is a well-defined form of slogan of free verse poetry. It is chanted or recited, sometimes with instrumental accompaniment by both men and women. Therefore, poetry was very highly esteemed in the Luba kingdom. The prestige attached to the lineage of the sacred kings was enormous, and rulers of the small neighboring chiefdoms were eager to associate themselves with Luba culture in return for tribute in goods and labor. These less powerful rulers were integrated into the royal lineage and adopted the sacred Luba ancestors as their own. Luba courtly traditions, including artistic styles and sculptural forms, were also passed along to client states. The decline of the Luba kingdom was based on the trade that was destroyed in the Luba kingdom. In 1870 and 1880s, traders from East Africa began searching for slaves and ivory in the savannas of Central Africa. The empire was raided for slaves, beginning the rapid destruction of the Luba kingdom. In 1889, the empire was split in two by a succession dispute, ending the empire as a unified state. The empire was later absorbed into the Belgian Congo Free State.